Jennifer Blanke, the World Economic Forum is launching today its fourth Lisbon review. We have been conducting this study for the past 8 years. What is it exactly about?
What we're doing is we're looking at the extent to which the European countries, so members of the European Union, are able or have been successful in putting into place the reforms that will increase the competitiveness of their economies compared with really, really competitive countries in the world.
So we've seen that some countries, some new EU countries who joined the EU in 2004, are doing better than the established ones. Tell us more.
Well, it's actually true. What we're seeing is that some countries, and I think the reason that this is happening is because many of them are post-socialist economies that had to basically build market-based economies from scratch. Some of them have been very successful in doing so. A good example is Estonia, which really is one of the most, it actually is the most competitive of the recent members of the EU, just outside the top 10. And it's doing very well across a variety of areas. It's put into place an excellent enterprise environment, for example, very easy to do business in the country compared to many other European countries, and very, very successful in putting into place an information society within the country, access to the internet to all. And so this really compares with some of the countries that are more long-standing members, like Italy, for example, that have, for one reason or another, really faced difficulties in improving the competitiveness of their economies, still facing a lot of obstacles to doing business in the countries. And more generally, what we're seeing across the board is that some of the countries of the European Union are really sort of acting with more vigor in terms of putting into place the reforms that will be necessary to really make the EU more competitive.
We're also seeing that some of the future accession candidate countries, like Turkey, are doing better than countries that are in the EU.
Yeah, that's actually quite interesting. What we're seeing is that, for example, some of the top performing countries that are either candidate or potential candidate countries are doing better than some of the worst performing EU members. In particular, we see that Croatia, Montenegro, and Turkey are doing better overall than Poland and Bulgaria, which are the two worst performing EU members. And this is because they've really, they have many aspects that are quite or comparatively attractive. Again, you know, better enterprise environments. They've really injected a lot more competition into their markets than you're seeing in some EU countries. And I think this is really why you're seeing that they're doing better than some of the existing EU members.
How does the current financial crisis play into the report?
Well, we look at 8 overall dimensions that cover issue areas such as innovation and research and development, as I'd mentioned before, the creation of an information society, really getting the society online, sustainable development, and many different issues. But one of the key issues that we do look at is financial services. That's one of the dimensions we would say that we look at. And there, interestingly, we see that the UK, a country that has been, you know, basically touched quite hard by the crisis, has gone down quite a bit. The last time we did this in 2006, the UK was ranked first in the area of financial services. This year, all the way down to 11th. So although we're actually, the data is preceding the really the latest scary chapter of the financial crisis, there was already a sense that something was going on in the data.
One last question. Will the EU countries arrive at meeting the Lisbon Goals?
Well, some of the countries are actually already doing quite well. If you look at the Nordic countries, for example, particularly Sweden and Denmark, but as well as Finland, they're really doing very well in terms of really almost addressing all of these issues, really making themselves very innovative, improving their enterprise environments. But that's not the case for all of the countries. And although it does look like probably they will not meet the goal, and it was a very ambitious goal set back in 2000, and that has been complicated, of course, also by you know, the accession of many countries that are at different stages of development. Perhaps they won't meet that goal overall, all 27 countries, but I do think that the European Union leaders do realize that it is a reform program that's worthwhile pursuing into the future.